Hello and welcome to day 27 on the Bayou State Trail. Today's featured hike is going to be about 19 miles, exiting Lake Fausse Point State Park and making our way over to the Myette Point Boat Landing. Now, much of the clips that you're going to see is pre-recorded from a few years back when I hiked this section as part of the Atchafalaya Basin Wilderness Trail. Plus, I included some updated information, particularly the campground area that you're going to see as an option at the end of the hike. So here's day 27. Well, the picture that I just showed a second ago was from the Cove boat landing. And right after that, it wasn't so much a gravel road. Actually, I'm going to show you in a second that's really now becoming more of just a normal trail that is basically a mixture of gravel and dirt. So it's actually a little bit of a softer walk at this point. Well, about 2 hours into the hike, approximately 5 to 6 miles so far in. Been real nice. It's gotten a little sunnier. Also, like I mentioned earlier, this part of the levee is a little bit more comfortable to walk on because there's not as much thick gravel. When you go back into the St. Martin Parish area north of here, there are a few trucks that pass along the levee, and a lot of them use the levee road to be able to get off to one of the boat landings. But once you get past Sandy Cove boat landing that I mentioned earlier, it's not so bad. And the only disappointment so far is I haven't had a good view of Lake Fausse Point, which is just straight ahead of me. But I should be able to get a nice overlook of the lake pretty soon. It's a little after 12:15. I started a little bit before 8:30 this morning. Just took about a 15 to 20 minute lunch break. Couldn't help myself with the scenery here. So for any of you out there that thinking that you may not be able to walk that far, what I would suggest is to park back at the Ruiz Landing and walk over this way southbound, and then you can turn around and go back to your car if you just want to come out for, just an hour or two. The reason why I showed those camps a little while ago is because there's just not that many out here. It was just really neat to see some of those camps out there on the water. It's the Grand Avoille Cove is what that's called, and it connects to Lake Fausse Point. So nice little cut through to get to the lake. At the Charenton Beach Boat Landing, you can see it's right down this way. This section of the levee in St. Mary Parish is gated off in multiple sections. So you can walk on it. It's just they're trying to prohibit vehicles getting on it. So you don't have any obstruction even from the Charenton locks. So you're good to go along this section. Oh, this is a nice overlook. It's not often it's wide open like this. I did want to point out in a couple of the slides I've shown so far that the water is pretty close to the levee, and that's not normal. So far this winter of 2023, it's been very wet. We've had some significant rainfall. So what you're seeing down here is a little unusual. It doesn't normally come this close. It's normally further back. But nevertheless, it's going to be a beautiful hike the rest of the day, and I'll show you some more as we get to some other sightseeing spots. All right, trail's right up here. You come down right before Myette Point, and this is the road that takes you over to the first campsite option, which is right down the road on the left behind the Wildlife and Fisheries office. That's the Wildlife and Fisheries office right there, and you can see a few people camping out. So this is a decent little campground area. Again, it's primitive. There's no water or electricity or bathrooms, especially if that office is closed. So I'll go ahead and show you a little bit more though, the Myette Point campground. All right, trails right here coming down. And this is the Myette Point Boat Landing. And you can see the restroom. A lot of people coming out here to fish right now. That's the boat landing right here. But you can camp out in this vicinity. There are plenty of spots, particularly back this way, away from the parking lot, where you could camp out. But this is a good spot to finish up on day 27. To conclude day number 27, another great day on the Atchafalaya Basin. It's hard to get disappointed walking along this stretch, being in such a beautiful area. And of course, today was a little bit more eventful, as you saw. Nice open view of Lake Fausse Point, cutting through the Avoille Cove community was kind of cool as well. And then when we got to the Charenton Beach Boat Landing, that's a nice little spot just to get off trail for a few minutes and check that out. Now, the road that's right there, Charenton Beach Road, and it can take you into the town of Charenton. But as of this recording, the bridge is out to get across Bayou into Charenton. So I'm just making this point now because as of December 2025, that bridge isn't open. So if you're looking to get off trail for whatever reason, you want to get into a town, it's going to take a lot longer to get into Charenton from there. Now, you can eventually road walk into either Baldwin or Franklin if you need to, but my suggestion would be, if you can, possibly get an Uber out there, see if they have any available, and try that out. Now, as you saw the two campsites that are available, my suggestion would be to use the regular campground area. It's just going to be a lot more quiet, because if you stay at the boat landing, a lot of fishermen show up early in the morning to wake you up. But of course, you do have the restroom there, so that does add to the attraction of wanting to stay at that spot instead. Now, as you've been seeing the last couple of days, there's not really any options right along trail for supplies. After Henderson, you're not going to be near any town. So obviously, you may want to consider getting some things. My suggestion would be check with the Walmart in Franklin when you get to Myette Point campground and see if they'll deliver. It's not that far. I'm sure it's a potential option, but you can check it out and see if they can have some things delivered to you to cap off day 27. Now, on day 28, you're going to see that you're going to eventually enter a couple of small towns. So if you can hold off on resupply, I would suggest you do so. But this was the final full day along the Atchafalaya levee. And as you'll see on day 28, we're going to cap it off before we exit and basically begin our approach to the southern terminus. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon on the Bayou State Trail.